acceleration is picking up. The acceleration of AI transformation is dramatically picking up. And if you look at probably a year ago to till now, the acceleration has been quadrupled or even more, right? So what it transforms into is in our everyday life, especially point of the customization, which is really coming down to the personalization of your own information, right? Which is how do I serve you better? It is all machines are learning that. Machines are learning you. Machines are becoming better to understand what you want. How can that be served to you, right? I think that transformation has been more manual till now, right? It is when you automate it, part of the true characteristics, the behaviors that you wanted to really exhibit out of what you wanted to get out of it, you got to get it out through the machines, right? So that's a power to start with. And second thing I just wanted to add on there is, especially the fintech layer or a financial services layer, and my partner here rightfully called out, which is finance is the center of the world, right? Everything is centered around finance. And when you look at your financial information, how that is secured enough, how that is been monitored, how that is been looked into in terms of your banking or in terms of your trading, in terms of your own activities that you do with finance, everything is going to change in a way that it is going to be much more personalized, much more into the aspect of how best can I do, what is the best, and a lot of those recommendations come to you rather than you seeking that. Lastly, I want to conclude with this, which is recently I saw a post on LinkedIn which said humans are going after machines in terms of phones. We're all watching phones, but machines are rating us, right? When machines are rating us, they are becoming smarter, and that smartness is what going to reflect back onto what we do on a day-to-day life.
Very well said. Very well said, sir. Thank you. So I'll just double click on one of the key points that you mentioned, right? The hyper personalization, or how customers will see an evolution of kind of services that we'll see, right? So you and Sarah represent a global firm, Paytm, right? Anand represents an Indian giant, and Sir represents a startup. So how individually within your, I would say an industry level, right? How are you guys getting ready for the wave? What kind of changes should each of your industries what should the audience take from each of these industries as the next wave, from a technology perspective or from a consumer perspective? What should they be expecting, or anything of that?
Yeah, I think I'll address that in a couple of ways, right? And then probably pass it back this way. I think from a consumer point of view, you have to be cautious about how is your data, is that data secured enough or not, right? Your personal information, is that secured enough or not, right? How far it is, how global it is being transformed into, and how much of that is something that you want to share or not, right? Some of those are not in your control, right? So when you go onto the websites nowadays, they're asking for cookies to say, do you want to accept these cookies or not, right? Watch out. I think it is important for you to watch out what you're accepting, what you're not accepting, right? For example, the other day I was just traveling with another person, and somebody calls and says, hey, somebody is tracking you. On your Snapchat app, you turn your location services on. So they're really tracking you, right? So that means you're with this person, you're going there, right? So you have to watch out what information that you're sharing, right? That kind of impacts your personalization. And second side of it is companies, organizations. What they're trying to do is they're trying to really predict. They're trying to build those predictive models around your personal data, right? So we have a lot of our focus right now is a lot of that chatbot technologies we are bringing in, and making sure that we're able to address your questions, your personal questions, much more freely and much more accurately, right? That accuracy is increasing as we speak, but we are not there yet, right? It's a journey. The model is improving as we speak, but I think it all comes back to understanding the intent. Intent, that is where the model maturities are coming along, the multi-model maturities, the intent behind that human behavior. More we understand, more personalization that we can start doing. And that's the journey that we are in. And as we mature enough, the serving to the customer becomes much more easier and much more accurate as well.
Yeah, probably I'll talk about the context a bit. The gentleman talked about the intent. So we are in the trade finance industry, and everybody knows that when a small business trades, buys or sells something to another business, it is not a straight line, right? So there are dips and there are seasonalities attached to it. There are a lot of dynamic situations where a customer is paying you very early. There are situations where the customer pays you late, right? And it's not just about telling a financial institution that, hey, go and fund this guy for about 10 lakhs, right? But it also is about giving the context. And that context can only be established when we look at large data sets. We look at the history within that spectrum of that industry. And we are able to bring intelligence which doesn't exist in the financial services ecosystem. So today, all of us know that banks are dependent on credit bureaus, right? So when somebody applies for a personal loan or when somebody applies for a corporate loan, when somebody applies for a corporate loan or a personal loan, the usual thing or a baseline thing which a financial institution does is to check about your financial history of what you have done, whether you have defaulted or paid your home loans, paid your EMIs properly, right? Now, this is a very baseline kind of checking that happens with the historical data that the system has captured. But what about people who do not have a history of data, right? What about people who face new dimensions of business? So today I might be a small business, serving about 100 customers. But the moment I get listed on an Amazon or the moment I get listed on an e-commerce website, probably I'm staring at a million plus kind of customers who could come and ask me for business, right? And how do I meet the financing needs of these transactions is a fundamental challenge which trade finance institutions do not know how to solve currently. Because on balance sheet, on financial history, I may be worth only X lakhs or X crores in terms of my eligibility to draw financing. But I have a genuine case of looking at an hyperactive business traction which needs financing solutions, right? That's where ProFintech comes in. We are working with some of the voluntary organizations like iSpirit, which was at the beginning of UPI before even the NPCI came into picture. iSpirit was championing UPI payment ecosystems, and they are at the front end of bringing innovations which have an impact for the next decade or 2 decades, right? It's not about just trying to solve what is in front of us for the next year or so, but about creating something which can impact generations. So we are working with them. There's a first cohort which has come out where we're looking at large data sets and applying machine learning technologies to figure out if we can make this a kind of an auto decision process, right? Where people may not bring the data sets which usually people bring to a bank, but looking at their identity and looking at the industry and the trading situation they are in, we are able to make a decision that yes, this business would require this kind of financing at this point in time, and make that a kind of fulfilling story for that business. Because from a trade perspective, if you are not giving financing at the time of the need, then we should not be existing in the first place, right? So it's like a hospital. It's like a hospital in many ways, because if a patient walks in with a pain or a problem, and if you're not able to solve it and ask them to fill a form or give some do some requirements, then what's the use of being a financial institution in the first place? So we are thinking from that perspective, Kumar, and we are on an initial journey because the financial services industry is highly regulated. There are a lot of other challenges of risk, etc., which we need to solve for. But I think the direction that we are all taking is in the right spirit.
The way I see it in this case is that So this is a win-win situation for both industry as well as the customers. So industry want to do better in their margins so that business can float, they can make good money over time, and customer wants better experience. So then needs to be balanced. Now, how AI is doing it? AI is, the way I said, AI is going to enable it so that business has better way to make money. At the same time, as a customer, I get better experience. That's what we want. And the same time, the beautiful things are happening as you see in this landscape for last 2 to 3 years, right? So if you look at simple KYC, know your customers, so simple things like you upload your documents. Today people are just calling you, call over a video. You do not need to go to a particular bank or something and just prove it that you are the customer, right? So there are a lot of things are happening through this, and this is where, in a way, AI is making many things as an enabler. So it also brings like a lot of concerns as customer says, do I my data is get secured? Am I sharing whatever the data I'm sharing? These are my personal information. I'm giving right consent so that the models are getting built or the customers are getting targeted. So I think that's where government is going to do a lot of role. And in the same scenario, RBI also playing critical role where, as you see over time, in US it is always there. That's, the market is well regulated and a lot of compliance is there. And I do see India is going to catch up on that. RBI has already put a lot of rules and regulations to build a lot of things. And recently you have seen this AI advisory came out, like how to build models, how to do things, but that's still not getting enforced. But the way I see it, that's in some point of time going to happen. So customer needs to look at it in more positive way so that the data is secure. The trust is going to be built.
Just to refresh the question, what the customers should foresee or expect as we grow in the AI world, especially towards the fintech, right? So pretty much covered by the folks over the panel. I will just complement the answers and totally agree in aligned with the directions the folks has already described the things. But I will just add 2 points over here, right? Whatever the next outcomes that we're gonna see, right? Whatever the next products that the customer is gonna see will always be accompanied by 2 dimensions. One is on the fingertips, that is speed. So just to give an example, right? Let's take an example of KYC. So previously, when you used to go to a bank, it used to take maybe few days for you to complete the KYC because you have to submit the form, submit the documents and all those things. Nowadays, you just go there, fill the details and you're done. It's on your fingertips and it's with the accuracy, right? Lending. The underwriting nowadays is on the fingertips. You just apply for it and within few seconds you will get an SMS, congratulations. Yeah. Or even nowadays it's going even above that. Without applying, you are getting the messages that congratulations, you've been allotted. So definitely with the accuracy, a lot of accuracy gonna increase, a lot of speed gonna increase, and the second dimension is affordable experts, I would say. So if I just ask in the room, right, how many people here have a wealth manager? Maybe very few, hardly one hand or maybe nothing, right? So, but with the help of AI, with the help of technology, the segment of robo advisors or the wealth advisors, which are affordable to the medium class, right, to affordable to the new young generation, is going to happen, and that credit goes to the AI world, right? Because finance is a very very big world where you have to diversify, you have to learn a lot of things, right? And if an expert is sitting out there giving you an advice very cheaply, which also works in your direction according to your goals, that's something you should expect going forward in the fintech world. That's my 2 takes on it.
There are multiple challenges, but one of the positive things which I would like to start this, Kumar, is that whether we like it or not, the rules in the financial services industry or the regulations in financial services industry have been unknowingly made by the wrong set of people, right? When I say wrong set of people, these are defaulters. So when one Nirav Modi uses an instrument like a letter of credit to defraud the system, suddenly the entire rules for millions of other customers have been framed, right? It's like almost somebody going and crashing into a divider, and then, without doing any checks on why the accident happened, we come up and put a traffic light or a signboard saying that this is an accident prone zone, right? So that has unfortunately happened over the years. So the good thing which is happening in this space is that a lot of data is coming into use, and RBI and SEBI and multiple other financial regulators who are the key stakeholders in the system are kind of believing that we need to look at the larger pools of data and bring in things like AI and ML before taking decisions which can impact the lives of people. Because obviously, if I decide based on one Nirav Modi whether to lend or not to the next million customers standing in the line, I would have probably done a disservice, to several customers. So that, I think, will be is a good thing which is happening. There are several challenges, as you can imagine. Regulations always take time to catch up with any new technologies, and that is big in India because it's also about financial stability, right? Finance has both angles, right? It's a kind of a double-edged sword. So on the positive side, it can fuel the economy, it can fuel the growth. But if you don't do it the right way, the economy can just spiral down and create huge problem for everybody, not just for government and RBI, but even for common people. You guys would have heard what happened in countries like Zimbabwe, right? Or what happened in countries like Argentina, etc., when there was spiraling inflation. And all of us have seen that to buy a 1 kilo of tomato, people used to take a pile of cash in a country like Zimbabwe to do that, right? Obviously, we don't want to go through that situation. So there will be a lot of caution before mainstreaming these technologies. But I am an optimist. I think that as the adjacent technologies or adjacent systems like the identity layers, the payment ecosystems, and things like account aggregator. I don't know how many of you have heard about that. Today, there is a regulated framework called account aggregator, which, if you give consent, can actually touch all your financial services providers like banks and NBFCs and take out a history of what happened in the past, right? So as these adjacent technologies and ecosystems mature, I think there will be